Welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet step by step this beautiful sweater with hoodie. It's very easy to make. I hope you like it. The little sweater that we're going to make in the tutorial is for baby boys and girls between 9 and 12 months, but you can easily make it smaller or bigger from 3 to 6 months and up to 4 to 5 years old. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, to make this little sweater with hood, this is the yarn that I used. It's DK weight yarn. You can also use 8-ply or number 3 yarn. Now, for the 9 to 12 months, I used about 185 grams, 80 grams in blue and 105 grams in white. You're also going to need 5 or 6 buttons. These buttons here are 13mm size, but you can also use 12mm size buttons. Now, you will need less or more of yarn depending on the size that you're making. Okay, let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe, activate the notifications bell to all notifications so that YouTube can recommend my videos. And if you like this tutorial, please hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. To crochet this little cardigan sweater, I'll be using this 3mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this DK weight yarn. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn I'm going to need for the size that we're making. So here, to begin, I have 62 chains. Now, this chain, without stretching or anything, it's measuring about 31 centimeters, which is about 12.25 inches. Now, if you're off by 1 or 2 centimeters, it's okay. Just continue with the first row. So here, to begin with the first row, into the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. Into this 4th chain here, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now, these 3 chains here at the beginning counts as 1 double crochet. In total, I'm going to make 8. So there's 2 into the next chain, make a double crochet. That's 3 into the next, a double crochet. That's 4. Eight. There. Now this here is going to be the first front panel. Now into the next chain, we're going to make our first corner. So each one of the corners is going to consist of a V-stitch. So make a double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet into this same chain. And here's the first corner. Now into the next 12 chains, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. So into the next chain, make a double crochet, into the next a double crochet, and so on until you have 12 double crochets. I finished making these 12 double crochets. This is going to be for one of the sleeves. Now into the next chain, we're going to make the second corner. So insert your hook and make a double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet. And here's the second corner. Now for the back side, we're going to make a total of 16 double crochets. So into the next chain, make a double crochet, that's 1, into the next a double crochet, that's 2, and so on. Continue until you have 16 double crochets. I finished making these 16 double crochets for the back side. Now into the next chain, we're going to make our third corner. So make a double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet. And here's the third corner. Now we're going to make the second sleeve. So in total, we're going to make 12 double crochets. So into the next chain, make your first double crochet, into the next a double crochet, and so on until you have 12 double crochets. I finished making these 12 double crochets. This is the second sleeve. Now into the next chain, make your 4th corner. Now you should be left with 8 chains, 2, 4, 6, 8. Into these last 8 chains, make 1 double crochet. Continue and finish this first row. I'll meet you at the end. I finished the first row. At the end of this row, I have a total of 64 double crochets, including the stitches here for each one of the corners. So let me show you again what we did here. Here you should have 8 double crochets, including the 3 chains. Then we have the first corner. For the sleeves, we have 12 double crochets. Then the second corner. For the back side, you should have 16 double crochets. Then we have the third corner. And then we have the second sleeve again with 12 double crochets, the fourth corner, and then we finished here with 8 double crochets. So that's a total of 64 double crochets at the end of this first row. Now for the second row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now this chain 1 here never counts as a stitch. Here, beginning on top of the first double crochet, I'm going to make a single crochet and I'm going to go through both loops. Now for the stitches in between, for this row here, we're going to make single crochets, but we're only going to go through the back loop like this. And here I'm just going to make 1 single crochet for each double crochet through the back loop only until I come to the first corner, where I'm going to show you how you're going to work each one of the corners. So here I have 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 single crochets. Now we have the first corner. Into this chain 2 space, you're going to make a single crochet, 2 chains, single crochet, and then continue on making single crochets through the back loop only of each one of the double crochets until you finish. Now from here on, at the end of each row, we're going to increase by 8 stitches. So continue, finish this second row. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the second row. At the end of this row, I have a total of 72 single crochets. From here on, at the end of each row, we're going to increase by 8 stitches because we have 4 corners. On each corner, we make 2 stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So at the end of this second row, you should have 72 single crochets. Now for the third row, I'm going to change yarn color. I almost forgot. I'm going to use this light blue yarn here. You can use any color. I'm going to make the yoke in 2 colors. So here I'm just going to grab a loop here, bring it through, and pull this stitch here so that single crochet closes. And now we're just going to chain 2. 1, 2, turn. I'm going to be changing yarn color every 2 rows here. So now right on top of this last single crochet that I did, or the first one on this side, make a double crochet. The 2 chains do not count. And remember to always go through both loops here at the beginning and at the end. So for the stitches in between now, I'm just going to make 1 double crochet through the back loop only of each one of these single crochets. So here I have 3 double crochets into the next. That's 4. 10. Now into the chain 2 space here, this is the first corner, I'm going to make a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Now you're going to continue along and work 1 double crochet on each one of the single crochets through the back loop only until you finish the row. And on each corner, you're just going to do exactly the same thing I did here. A double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Now continue, finish this third row. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this third row. Now here at the end, on top of the last single crochet through both loops, make a double crochet. And this is how I finished the third row. At the end of this row, you should have a total of 80 double crochets. Now for the fourth row, chain 1 and turn. In this row, I'm going to repeat the row single crochet. So beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a single crochet. Make sure to go through both loops here at the beginning of the row and at the end. Now for the stitches in between, you just make a single crochet through the back loop only of each one of these double crochets. So here I have 3, 11 single crochets. Now into the chain 2 space, which is the first corner here, make a single crochet, 2 chains, single crochet. Now continue along into the next section and through the back loop only of this first double crochet of the sleeve here, make a single crochet through the back loop and on each one of the double crochets. And this is how you're going to continue. When you come to each one of the corners, you're just going to do exactly the same thing I did here. A single crochet, 2 chain, single crochet. Continue, I'll meet you at the end of this fourth row. I'm here at the end of this fourth row. This is where I did single crochets. Now at the end of this row I have a total of 88 single crochets. Now I have completed 2 rows in blue, so now I'm going to grab the white again and I'm going to do another 2 rows in white. So every 2 rows we're going to be switching colors. So here, just grab a loop, pull the blue yarn there, chain 2. If you're not changing yarn color, then just chain 2 and turn. Now here for row 5 we're going to make the double crochet row. So right on top of this last single crochet, make a double crochet. Make sure you go through both loops, and then for the stitches in between, through the back loop only, make a double crochet until you come to the first corner. So here I have 3 double crochets. Now into the chain 2 space of each corner, you just make a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Now continue on through the back loop only of each single crochet, make a double crochet until you finish this 5th row. At the end of this 5th row you're going to have 96 double crochets, and then to make the next row you're going to chain 1, turn, and then repeat the same thing we did here for the single crochet row. And then after you finish that row you're going to switch again yarn color and then continue on and finish the yoke. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, and I'm also going to tell you how many stitches you should have at the end of each row from here on. So continue, finish the yoke, and then I'll meet you at the end of that row. I finished making the yoke. I have done a total of 12 rows. At the end of the 12th row, which was a row of single crochets, I have a total of 152 stitches. Now each one of the front panels has 20 stitches, each one of the sleeves has 36 stitches, and for the back side I have 40 stitches. And it's measuring right across this part here, from here to here. It's measuring about 11 centimeters, which is about 4.25 inches. Now in the next row we're going to divide the sleeves, but first I'm going to give you the total number of stitches that you should have after row 4. I think the last row that we did was row 4. So at the end of the 5th row you should have had a total of 96 double crochets. At the end of the 6th row, 104 single crochets. At the end of row 7, 112 double crochets. Row 8, 120 single crochets. Row 9, 128 double crochets. Row 10, 136 single crochets. Row 11, 144 double crochets. And at the end of the 12th row, like I said, 152 single crochets. Now I have 3 blue stripes and I have 3 white stripes. So here what we're going to do next, this is going to be row 1. We're going to divide the sleeves. So to do this, I'm going to switch to the white yarn here. I'm going to grab a loop here, chain 2, turn. Now beginning on top of this first single crochet, make a double crochet through both loops, and for the stitches in between, through the back loop only, make a double crochet. Now here I'm going to work these stitches, which is a total of 20. So I will meet you right here. This is the first corner to show you how we're going to divide the first sleeve. I finished making these double crochets for the front panel. I have 20 double crochets. Now into this first corner here, I'm going to make 3 double crochets. So now for this front panel you should have 23 double crochets. To divide the first sleeve you're going to chain 7. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now to divide the first sleeve we're going to skip these 36 stitches for the sleeve here, and into the second corner insert your hook and make 3 double crochets. There. Now if you want to add more chains here to add to the chest measurement, you can. There is no stitch multiple, so you can add less or more. The only thing here is that for the sleeve, when we do the sleeve, you may have less or more stitches here all around. So now what we're going to do is, for the back side, we're going to work 1 double crochet through the back loop only of each one of these stitches here. So for the back side, we're going to work these 40 stitches. So continue, finish this part, and then I'll meet you right here to show you how we're going to divide the second sleeve. I finished making these 40 double crochets for the back side, plus the 3 that we did here in this corner. Right now I have 43 stitches. Now into this third corner, make 3 double crochets. So now for the back side, you should have 46 double crochets. We have 3 plus 40 plus 3, that's 46 double crochets. Now to divide the second sleeve, chain 7. Let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, 7. Now skip these 36 stitches for the second sleeve and right into the fourth corner, insert your hook and make 3 double crochets. There. Now continue along for the front panel here and finish these last 20 double crochets, and remember to go through the back loop only. I will meet you at the end of this first row. I finished making this first row where we divided the sleeves. Now at the end of this row you should have a total of 106 double crochets. Each one of the front panels has 23 stitches. For the back side we have 46, and under each sleeve we have 7 chains. So that's a total of 106 stitches at the end of this first row. Now for the second row, we're going to continue with the pattern here. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first double crochet, make a single crochet, and for the stitches in between just make 1 single crochet, but make sure to go through the back loop only. And this is how we're going to work the second row. Now once you get here to the chains, you're just going to continue and make 1 single crochet for each chain, and then continue for the next section, which is the back side, and then do the same thing here under the sleeve, 1 single crochet for each chain, and then finish the second front panel. At the end of this second row you should have a total of 106 single crochets. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this second row. This is where I did single crochets. Now to finish the row, on top of the last double crochet through both loops, make your last single crochet. I have a total of 106 stitches at the end of this second row. Now for the third row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Now from here on, I'm not going to change yarn color. I'm just going to continue with the white from here on. So I've cut my yarn here, the blue one that I had there. So now for the third row, beginning on top of the first, single crochet through both loops, make your first double crochet. For the stitches that remained, through the back loop only, you're going to make a double crochet, and in this third row I'm going to increase 2 stitches under each sleeve. So here make a total of 26 double crochets. I'll meet you right here, right under the first sleeve, to show you what we need to do next. I have 26 double crochets for this third row. Now right under the sleeve, into this stitch here, which is the middle stitch right under the sleeve, I'm going to make 3 double crochets. So make sure to go through both loops for this increase. Now into the next stitch through the back loop, continue and make 1 double crochet on each single crochet until you come to the stitches here under the sleeve. So right in the middle of the second sleeve, we're going to make our second increase. So continue. I will meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. I have 52 double crochets here, starting from the stitch after the stitch marker. So from here up to here I have 52 double crochets, and then I have this next stitch marker, which is the middle stitch here right under the sleeve for the second sleeve. Here I'm going to make 3 double crochets. So now you're just going to continue and work 1 double crochet through the back loop only of the remaining 26 stitches here. So continue, finish this third row. I will meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of the third row, right into the last single crochet through both loops, make your last double crochet. And this is how I finished this third row. At the end of this row, you should have a total of 110 double crochets. In this row, we increased 2 stitches under each one of the sleeves, so that's an extra 4 stitches at the end of this row. So you should have 110 double crochets. Now from here on, we're just going to continue and repeat these 2 rows without increases. We're going to make the row of double crochets and the row of single crochets, and at the end of each row we're going to have 110 stitches. So here to start you off for the 4th row, you're just going to chain 1 and turn, and on top of the first double crochet make a single crochet through both loops, and for the stitches in between through the back loop only, you're just going to make 1 single crochet for each one of the double crochets. And that's how you're going to continue for this 4th row. At the end of this 4th row, you're going to have a total of 110 single crochets. Then you're going to chain 2, turn, and then make the row of double crochets. And at the end of that row, you're also going to have 110 double crochets. Now, that's all we're going to do from here on. Just repeat these 2 rows. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do. So continue, and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I finished making the body here of the little sweater. Now I have done a total of 26 rows. So from here up to here, there's 26 rows. The last row that I did was the row of single crochets. Now here at the end, I've cut my yarn, so I'm going to pass my yarn through this last loop. Now it's measuring from the top of the shoulder down to the end of this last row. It's measuring about 29 centimeters, which is about 11.5 inches. Now what we're going to do next is the bottom here of the little sweater. So here to begin row 27, I'm going to use this blue yarn. So I'm going to go on top of the last single crochet, grab a loop here, bring it through. Now chain 1, and right into the same stitch here, I'm going to make a half double crochet. Now I'm going to work front post and back post half double crochet. So beginning into the next single crochet, I'm going to make a front post half double crochet. Into the next, a back post half double crochet. Into the next, front post half double crochet. Into the next, back post half double crochet, and so on. This is how I'm going to work this bottom part of the sweater. I know many people have difficulty making front post and back post stitches, so you can also make single crochets here. That would be up to you. I'm going to make front post and back post half double crochet. So continue. I'll meet you here at the end of row 27. I'm here at the end of row 27. Now here at the end, on top of the last stitch here, make a half double crochet. And here's row 27 with a total of 110 stitches. Now for rows 28 and 29, we're going to chain 2 and turn. And right on top of this first half double crochet, make a half double crochet. Now into the next, we're going to start with a front post half double crochet. Into the next, back post half double crochet. Front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. Now once you finished this row, row 28, you're just going to make your last half double crochet on top of the last stitch, chain 2, turn, and then repeat the same thing for row 29. And this is how we're going to make the bottom of the sweater here. So continue, finish these last 2 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of row 29 now. To finish here at the end, on top of the last stitch, make a half double crochet. And this is how I finished this part here. I did a total of 3 rows. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to work here the front panels. So to do this, I'm going to continue with the blue yarn. I'm going to chain 1, and right into this last half double crochet that I did at the end of row 29, make a half double crochet. Now into the next row, make a half double crochet, and into the next, a half double crochet. Here I have 3 half double crochets. Now we're going to continue here along the body, and here at the end we have a row of single crochet, a row of double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. So into each one of these rows I'm going to make a half double crochet. So beginning into this row of single crochets, make your first half double crochet. This is row 26. Into the next row, make a half double crochet. Into the next row, which is a single crochet, make a half double crochet, and so on. So basically 1 half double crochet for each row here, all the way to the top. Make sure that you make these half double crochets nice and loose. So continue. I'll meet you here at the top of this first row for the first front panel. I finished making these half double crochets along this right side front panel. I have a total of 42 half double crochets up to here, and this is the last row of double crochets. So now right into this row of chains right here, I'm going to make one last half double crochet. So now I have 43 half double crochets for this front panel. Now if you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. The important thing here is that when you do the other side, make sure that you make the same number of half double crochets. Now for the second row, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now here we're going to work front post and back post half double crochets just like we did here for the bottom. So to begin, on top of this last half double crochet that I did in the previous row, make a half double crochet. Now into the next, work a front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, into the next front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, and so on. This is how I'm going to work this part here. This is the second row, so continue. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row. Now to finish, here on top of the last half double crochet, make a half double crochet, and here's the second row with a total of 43 half double crochets. Now one thing before we continue, make sure that this part here is nice and loose so that this part here looks nice and straight. If for some reason yours looks a little wonky, then go ahead and use a slightly bigger hook size, maybe a 3.5mm hook. What I'm doing here is I'm just making sure to make these front post and back post stitches nice and loose. So now for the third row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Now in this third row, we're going to repeat the same thing. Beginning on top of this last half double crochet, or the first on this side, make a half double crochet. Now into the next, we have a back post stitch, so make a back post half double crochet. Next one, front post half double crochet. Next one, back post half double crochet, and so on. Continue for this third row. I will meet you here at the top. I finished making this third row of the front panel. Now here at the end, I just made my last half double crochet, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through that last loop, and this front panel here is all done. Now I'm going to make this little jacket with a hood, so I'm going to come back and work the neckline after I'm done with this second front panel. So now we're going to go here to this side, and to begin this front panel, we're going to do exactly the same thing we did here. I'm just going to go into this stitch here. This is the row of double crochet, so right there into that space, I'm going to grab a loop here, bring it through, and chain 1. Now right into this same space here, I'm going to make a half double crochet, and actually I'm going to make 2, so make 2 half double crochets here. Now into the next row, which is the row of single crochets, make 1. Now here I'm going to make sure to hide these ends, and I'm making sure to make these stitches nice and loose. Now into the next row, which is the double crochet row, make a half double crochet into the next, and so on. Now this part here is exactly the same how we worked the first front panel. Make sure that you have the same number of stitches. That's the important thing. For me, I had 43. Continue like this. I'll meet you at the end of this first row. I'm here at the end of this first row for the second front panel. Now up to here, I have 42 stitches. I need to make one more, so I'm just going to go right here into this end and just make my last half double crochet. Now I have 43 half double crochets, which is the same number of half double crochets that I did for the first front panel. Now for rows 2 and 3, you're going to chain 2 and turn. Now beginning on top of this first half double crochet here, make a half double crochet. Now into the next one, this one here, start with a front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, into the next front post half double crochet, and so on. This is how you're going to continue for the third row. Once you get here to the top, into this last half double crochet, you're going to make your last half double crochet, chain 2, turn, and then for the third row, you're going to work those half double crochets exactly how they are, front post and back post half double crochets. And that's all we're going to do here for this second front panel. So continue, finish this side, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making the second front panel. Now here at the end of the third row for the second front panel, I just made my last half double crochet here at the end, cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop, and this part here is done. Now if you notice, I did not add any buttonholes. The spaces in between the rows of half double crochets are big enough for buttons to fit through. I normally use buttons that are 11, 12, or even 13 millimeter size. Continue watching towards the end of the tutorial. Once I give you the measurements, I'll go ahead and show you the buttons that I'm going to use and the size that I'm going to use for my little sweater. Now remember, this is for boys and girls, but this one specifically I'm making it for boys, so I'm going to put my buttons on this side and I'm going to use this side as for the buttonholes. For girls, it's the opposite. You're going to put your buttons on this side, and then this side is going to be where the buttonholes are going to go. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to make the hood, and to make the hood we're going to go here to the left side. We're going to work this first row of the hood from the wrong side out. So to begin, I'm going to go right here in between the first two stitches here in white. This is the first row that we did when we started the yoke. We have the row of chain and then we have the row of double crochet. So in between these last two stitches right here, right where the white starts, I'm going to insert this hook. I'm going to use this white yarn and I'm going to bring a loop through, chain one, and right into this space between these first two stitches I'm going to make a single crochet. Now between the next two double crochets, make a single crochet, between the next two a single crochet, and so on. This is how I'm going to work this first row for the hood, just making single crochets between two double crochets. So continue like this all around. I will meet you here at this other end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this first row. In this row, all we did was single crochets all around the neckline. Now between the last two stitches here at the end, make your last single crochet. Now at the end of this first row, I have 63 single crochets. Now for the second row, I'm going to chain two and turn. These two chains never count as a stitch. Now here I'm going to continue with this pattern where I do a row single crochet and a row of double crochets. We're going to do the hood exactly in the same way. So here, beginning on top of the first single crochet through both loops, make your first double crochet. Now the stitches in between, just go into the next stitch through the back loop and make a double crochet. This part, like I said, is exactly in the same way how we did the body of the sweater. We're just going to alternate between a row of double crochet and a row of single crochets. And at the end of each row, you're going to have 63 stitches. Now to finish this row, all you're going to do is just go here on top of the last single crochet through both loops, make your last double crochet, then chain one, turn, and then make the row of single crochets. Remember that the first stitch and the last stitch, you always go through both loops. For the stitches in between, you always go through the back loop only, and that's what creates this pattern here. Now I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here for the hood, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so continue, repeat these two rows, and then I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I finished making this part. I did a total of 31 rows. So from here where we started up to here, I have 31 rows. The last row that I did was a row of single crochet, and it's measuring from the top here to the bottom where we started. It's measuring about 23.5 centimeters, which is about 9.25 inches. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to close the top here. So this here is the right side. So we're going to put the right side together like this so that we can close this part here and the seam is on the inside. So now to do this, we're going to go here to the end of row 31, or on this other side of row 31. Now grab a loop here, bring it through. Now chain one, insert your hook back into the first stitch here on this side and the first stitch or the last stitch here on this other side. Grab a loop and make a slip stitch. Now go into the next stitch on this side and into the stitch here in the back, grab a loop and make a slip stitch. Now you can also cut your yarn and just with the whip stitch here, close the top. I'm going to do it this way. Make sure that these slip stitches are nice and loose So this is how I'm going to close this part here. So continue, finish, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished joining this part here at the end. I just did my last stitch, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through that last loop, and this part here is done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make half double crochets all around, just like we did here. So we're going to begin here on this side. So this would be the right side. We're going to go here on this end where we have the first row of single crochet. So right into that first row. For the hood, insert your hook and grab a loop. Now make sure that you leave a nice long tail here because we're going to use this piece of yarn here to join the hood with the front panels. So here to begin, chain 2, and right into this first row make a half double crochet. Now here we have a row of double crochet, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. Into each one of these rows we're going to make a half double crochet, just like this, all around. So just one half double crochet into the row of double crochets and one half double crochet into the rows of single crochets. Make sure that you make these stitches nice and loose. So continue like this all around. I will meet you here at this other end right here to show you how we're going to finish this first row. I finished making these half double crochets all around the hood. This is the first row. Now up to here, which is the row of double crochets, and then I have the last row, which is the row of single crochet. Up to here I have 61 half double crochets. So now right into this same row I'm going to make another half double crochet, so that's 62, and into the last row, the row of single crochet, I'm going to make the last half double crochet. So now I have a total of 63 half double crochets all around the hood. Now for the second row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Now in this row, beginning on top of the first half double crochet, make a half double crochet. And now into the next, we're going to start with a front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how we're going to continue all around for this second row. So continue all around the hood. I will meet you here at this other end to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row. In this row I have done front post and back post half double crochets all around the hood. Now to finish this row, on top of the last half double crochet, make a half double crochet. And this is how I finished the second row with a total of 63 half double crochets. Now for the third row, chain 2 and turn. Now in this row we're going to do the same thing. Beginning on top of the first half double crochet, make a half double crochet, and now we're going to work these stitches exactly how they are. The next stitch is a back post half double crochet, so make a back post half double crochet. Next one, a front post half double crochet. Next one, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet, and so on. This is how you're going to continue for this third row. So continue. I will meet you here at the end of this third row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making this third row all around the hood. Now here at the end, I just did my last half double crochet, cut my yarn, and passed my yarn through that last loop. Now make sure that you leave a nice long tail here because we're going to join the hood with the front panels. So to do this here, we're going to use a yarn needle. Now there is no right or wrong way of doing this. I'm just going to seam these two pieces together like this from the wrong side. So here's my yarn. I'm just going to go right here and go in and out like this. You can also do the whip stitch to join these two sides. I'm just going to do it like this. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. That's how it looks. So here I'm just going to make my last stitch and just reinforce this last stitch and hide my ends. And I'm just going to hide my ends here along the front panel, just like that. And then go up a couple stitches and then go down a couple stitches. That's how I hide my ends here, by the way. So just cut your yarn here, and this part here is done. That's how it looks. Now you're going to do the same thing here for this side, and that's how it looks. You can also just leave it without attaching here to the front panel. You can just put your first button right here and leave this like this, or you can just I don't know, fold it like this and just make a little stitch right here with this yarn that was left. That would be up to you. I think that this way it's fine, so I'm going to do mine like this. Now what we're going to do next here is the sleeves. I already went ahead and did this side. You're going to do it exactly in the same way, so I'm going to show you here with this sleeve. So we're going to go right under the sleeve. Here under the sleeve we have these 7 stitches that we added when we were separating the sleeves. So I'm going to go right here, right in the middle of these 7 stitches. So I'm going to go right here. We have 3 stitches on this side and 3 stitches here on this side. Let me double check. We have 1, 2, 3, yes. And 1, 2, 3, yes. So right here, right in the middle. Insert your hook. I'm going to continue with the blue yarn here for the sleeves. So here we're going to chain 2. Now right into this same stitch here, make a double crochet. Here I'm going to make 1 double crochet on each one of these next 3 stitches. That's 1, 2, and 3. There. So including the first one that I did, I have 4 double crochets. Now we have this double crochet. That's the last double crochet that we did when we separated the sleeves. So here I'm going to make a double crochet decrease so that there is no gap between this stitch and the first single crochet here that we have for the sleeve. So I'm just going to insert my hook into that double crochet space, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook. Now yarn over and go on top of the first single crochet of the sleeve here and take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. So this here is a double crochet decrease, which counts as 1 double crochet. So far I have 5 stitches, 2, 4, 5. Now we're going to continue. Here for the sleeves, remember we left 36 stitches. So into the next single crochet here through the back loop, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now these stitches here, I'm going to go through the back loop only. The first one I did it through both loops so that this stitch here is nicely reinforced and it doesn't stretch out the stitch. So the remaining stitches just go through the back loop of the single crochet. Now continue like this all around. I will meet you here at the end of this first row for the sleeve to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this first row for the first sleeve. Now up to here I have 39 double crochets. I still have 1 last stitch here that's part of the stitches that we left for the sleeve. So into this last stitch here, I'm going to yarn over, insert your hook through both loops here at the end, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook. Now yarn over, and here we have this last double crochet from when we divided the sleeves. In there, insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. So now I have 40 stitches. Remember, this stitch here counts as 1 double crochet. Now into these last 3 chain stitches here, I'm going to make a double crochet as well. So this is going to be 41, 42, and 43. To finish this first row, go on top of the first double crochet, not the chains, the double crochet, and join with a slip stitch. And here is the first row with a total of 43 double crochets. From here on, we're going to continue with 43 stitches, and we're going to continue with the pattern. We're going to make a row of double crochet, which we did here, and then the next row is going to be the row single crochet. So here for the second row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now beginning into the next double crochet, which is this one here, through the back loop only of this stitch here, insert your hook there and make a single crochet into the next, single crochet into the next, and so on. Here we're going to continue with making single crochets through the back loop only. At the end of this second row, I'm going to be left with 43 single crochets. Continue, I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. Now up to here I have 43 single crochets. To finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished the second row with a total of 43 single crochets. Now for the third row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Remember, the 2 chains never count. Now here in this row, we're going to repeat the row of double crochets. So to begin, we're going to yarn over and into this next single crochet right there. You could see the 2 loops through the back loop only. Make your first double crochet. Into the next, a double crochet, to the next, a double crochet, and so on. For this third row, this is all we're going to do. Double crochets through the back loop only. Continue all around. I'll meet you at the end of this third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. Now in this row we did double crochets all around. I have 43 double crochets. To finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now from here on, these are the 2 rows that we're going to repeat, the second row and the third row. So for the fourth row, we're going to repeat the row single crochets. So chain 1, turn. Now beginning into the next double crochet, this one here through the back loop only. Make your first single crochet, and into each one of the double crochets, 1 single crochet through the back loop only. At the end of this row, you're going to have 43 single crochets, and to finish, you're going to go on top of the first single crochet, join with a slip stitch, chain 2, turn, and then repeat the same thing we did here for the third row. And that's how we're going to continue here for the sleeve. Now we're going to do this for a total of 25 rows. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25 rows. In row 26, we're going to make some decreases, so I'm going to come back and show you how we're going to do that. So for now, continue and finish 25 rows, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making these 25 rows for the first sleeve. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25. The last row here is a double crochet row. Now what we're going to do for row 26 is we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now here we're going to make some decreases. So this is how we're going to make it. First, I'm going to make 6 single crochet. So beginning into the next stitch, make a single crochet, and I'm going through the back loop also. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Now into the next 2, insert your hook, grab a loop. Into the next, insert your hook, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. Here's a single crochet decrease. Now again, repeat the same thing. Make 6 single crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Into the next 2, insert your hook, grab a loop, insert your hook into the next, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. Here's our second single crochet decrease. And this is how we're going to continue for this row up to the last 3 stitches. I'm here at the end of row 26. I have 3 stitches left. Up to here, I have 35 stitches. Here's my last decrease. Now into these last 3 stitches, just make single crochets so that at the end of this row, we have 38 single crochets. Now to finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish row 26 with a total of 38 stitches at the end of this row. Now I've cut my yarn. I'm going to pass my yarn through this last loop. I'm going to switch to the white yarn here. If you're not changing yarn color, then just go ahead, chain 1 and turn. Now insert your hook into this first stitch here next to where we finished. So right there through both loops. For row 27, I'm going to work front post and back post half double crochets. So here we're just going to chain 1. Now we're going to start with a front post half double crochet. Next one, back post half double crochet. Next one, front post half double crochet. Back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. And this is all we're going to do for this row. Continue all around, just alternating between front post and back post half double crochets for this 27th row. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of row 27, and this row I did front post and back post half double crochets. I have 38 stitches to finish. Go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now for rows 28 and 29, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work these stitches exactly how they are. This first one here is a front post, so make a front post half double crochet. The next one, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how you're going to continue for row 28. Now to finish, go on top of the first stitch, join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then repeat the same thing for row 29. So continue, finish this part, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making the last row here of the cuff, row 29. Here at the end, it's just join to the beginning with a slip stitch. Here at the end, it's just join to the beginning with a slip stitch, cut my yarn and pass my yarn through that last loop, and the sleeve is all done, and this is how it looks. Now you're going to do this here exactly in the same way for the second sleeve. It's done exactly in the same way. Nothing is different. So the sleeves are all done. The little jacket, coat, or sweater is also done with the little hood. And this is how it looks. Here's the back side. And here's the front. Now, as far as buttons, these buttons here are 13mm size. You can also use 12mm size buttons. They will easily fit through the spaces in between the rows of half double crochets, which is what I did. So this little sweater is all done with the little hood. So now let me give you the finished measurements. From this row here of single crochets up to the end here of the last row, it's measuring about 29.5 centimeters, which is about 11 inches. From under the sleeve to the end of the sleeve, it's measuring about 21 centimeters, which is about 8.25 inches. Now, the width of the sleeve, just the top, it's measuring about 9.5 centimeters, which is about 3.75 inches. The total length from the top of the shoulder to the end of the last row, it's measuring about 31 centimeters, which is about 12.25 inches. Now, this measurement here, right across, from here up to here, it's measuring about 12.5 centimeters, which is about 5 inches, and the chest measurement, just the top, it's measuring about 27 centimeters, which is about 10.5 inches. Now, the measurement for the hood, I already gave it to you as we were making it, so I'm not going to give you that, but based on these measurements, this little sweater, hoodie, or cardigan is for baby boys and girls between 9 and 12 months. Now, you can easily make it smaller or bigger. I'd say from 3 to 6 months and up to 4 to 5 years old. Down here in the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make it smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. And as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, this was today's tutorial. Comment below and let me know how you like it. Comment and let me know also if you want me to make the matching pants. I'll gladly go ahead and do that for you all, but make sure to comment. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.